It's been a very wet month of July, but it hasn't stopped your Outlaws just yet. Welcome back to Oneonta Outlaws pregame right here on Outlaws YouTube. As always, my name is Colby Smith, and this Oneonta team going to be looking for a big bounce back tonight here at home, or at least a bounce back before the rain comes. Rain in the forecast for later on this evening, and we're hoping that we can get at least the vast majority of this game in before the showers come and probably wipe this game out, because it's looking like when it starts, it's not going to stop. So we'll play baseball till that moment comes. But the Outlaws last night up at Mohawk Valley took a 2-1 loss to the Diamond Dogs. Second straight time the Outlaws have gone up there to Little Falls, and gotten walked off by this Diamond Dogs team. Final line for your Outlaws: 1 run, 5 hits, and an error in the field. And it was actually a game-ending error as Ryan King couldn't come down with a little slow tapper up the third baseline, rolled into left field, and the ball game was over as Levi McAllister coming up with a big ball in play to finish the job. Diamond Dogs final line: 2 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. And despite the Diamond Dogs' 2 errors in the field, including one that allowed the Outlaws to have runners on second and third in just the 6th inning with 1 out, Oneonta couldn't cash in on that go-around, and the only run going to be scored courtesy of a Matt Carrera RBI sac fly. Player of the game last night for your Outlaws, none other than Lawrence Ellenson. Took his first start on the bump here in Oneonta, and what a showing it was. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, walked 4, and struck out 3 while holding the Diamond Dogs to no runs. So Ellenson gets the player of the game nod. Brian Dangler follows him up out of the bullpen, and we talked about the impact that those two had on the ball game last night. Those two were certainly remarkable. We didn't have a chance to talk to the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs and get plays of the game from last night, so with not having the opportunity to play at home here in a couple of days, we're going to flash back to our plays of the game from Saturday night. So here's the first. Bottom of the 6th inning, Jin Shen remains on the bump for Boonville. It's his first pitch to Raleigh, high in the air, out towards left field. Chugging back goes away. He looks up, and that one's over the fence. Brody Raleigh over the left field fence, going to make it an 8-4 game here in the 6th. First pitch of the bottom of the 6th inning, and Brody Raleigh goes yard over the left field fence to stretch out that Outlaw lead to then 8-4. Oneonta would hold on to get the win, and they've beaten Boonville twice in the month of July now, but the Outlaws have struggled to get wins against anybody not named the Lumberjets. So they're hoping that they can change that fate, battling this Glens Falls Dragons team that's been also tough here as of late for them. But before we get into stats, get into our interviews of the day, let's flash to our second play of the game from Saturday. For a put-down pitch. Goebel bat set from the first base side. His 1-2. Pounded over to Bateman at short. Flips it to Raleigh. Back over to Waiting in time. The 6-4-3 double play gets the Oneonta defense out of the inning, and Jordan Goebel is fired up as we are now halfway home in this one. 7-4. So Bateman to Raleigh to Waiting completes the 6-4-3 double play for the Oneonta Outlaws there in that game against the Boonville Lumberjets. Needed some outs to get out of that half inning, and the Oneonta infield that's been also stellar gets the job done. We gave you our player of the game from Saturday, and we also want to take a moment with not getting a chance to bring you the live action here in a couple of days and give a big kudos to Jack Kopko. He takes PGCBL hitter of the week for the week of Sunday the 14th to Sunday the 21st. Goes a combined 5 for 7 at the plate, picks up a couple of RBIs, also has 4 walks. So a big congratulations go out to Hop. He's the first hitter of the week that the Oneonta Outlaws have had in quite some time. Haven't had one since we managed to get all the way back to 2019, so it's been a minute. Didn't go further than that, but you get the gist. It's been a while since the Outlaws have had a hitter of the week. So a big congratulations go out to Jack Kopko. And now, as we approach first pitch time against this Glens Falls Dragons club, let's head down to our player interview of the day as we got a chance to talk to Outlaws reliever Pat Dangler prior to this one. Colby Smith, and I'm super duper excited to be joined today by my new friend, Pat Dangler. Pat, it's been your second season here as an Outlaw. Tell me about your experience so far, compare and contrast last year to this year.
Yeah, I'm loving it playing here. Last year, kind of the same feel. Weren't in the playoff race really at all last year. This year, we're in the playoff race, so that's super exciting.
Well, and tell me about playing in a playoff chase. What is that like for you as a baseball player?
I mean, anytime you get a chance to play in the playoffs, it's pretty special.
And talking about special things, what other things have been so special here this summer?
One of the things has been like throwing to my brother for the first time since high school. First time back, having him behind the dish, being able to catch for me, it's been really special.
Well, and what's the bond between you two, both off the field and on the field? Like, how do you two connect?
We're like best friends, and I mean, pitching wise and catching wise, he knows like what to call. We're pretty much on the same page all the time.
And how does he compare in terms of that sense from any catcher that you've ever worked with before?
He just knows me like the best, just like calling pitches, knows my weaknesses and my strengths.
And how does that make you more comfortable out there?
It just makes me more confident, and like if him and I are on the same page, he's just got the confidence in me to get it there, so I got the confidence in myself.
Well, and what do you two do, kind of away from baseball to keep your bond up and, grow?
We do everything together pretty much. Like we're always hanging out, playing video games, going for hikes. We do everything together for the most part. Going to the gym, everything like that.
And what are some of your favorite things to do when you're not at the ballpark here personally?
Go to the gym, get outside, go for hikes, all that stuff.
What are some of the best hikes that you've hit up in the area?
Mine Kill down in Gilboa is a good one.
And besides heights, you mentioned video games. What's the go-to?
MLB The Show.
All right. Well, and now kind of getting back to the whole team atmosphere, Jack Hopko, a guy you played with last year, also played with this year, just took Hitter of the Week, first time in a while. Somebody from Oneonta taking that accolade. Tell me a little bit about playing with Jack.
I mean, he's been great. He's a great dude. I mean, he's been hitting the crap out of the ball. Last night he made some great plays while I was out there. He's a good all-around baseball player.
And how does having such a strong infield outfield behind you like you've had this summer help ease your mindset?
It makes it a lot easier. Last night, Matty C making some nice plays, Jacoby, Marco having a throw home to keep us in the lead, Hopko making some great catches. They've all been super good.
Mentioning keeping that lead, another tight game up there in Mohawk Valley last night, and seems like this team has played in a lot of those tight games recently. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was just 1-0 game the whole way. Just wish our bats were a little more fired up. Wish we just got a few more runs, and then came all the way down to the wire and just had some unfortunate circumstances. Just kind of pull away from the lead and just came up short.
Well, and as a ball player, how frustrating is it to play in one of those games where it's like, if one more hit had gone your way or if one more thing had gone your way, you might have that one?
Yeah, it's a little frustrating, but you got to just try not to think about it. You got to try and take away the positives from the game.
And what do you feel like were some of your positives from your time on the mound last night?
Getting the slider in really well, getting a lot of weak contact, getting a lot of swings and misses, everything like that.
And how do you feel like that Mohawk Valley Diamond Dog lineup, considering you've seen them a couple of times, stacks up against some of the best here in the league?
They're one of the best lineups in the league. Their bats show it. They could hit the ball real well, and even they're pitching solid.
And this Outlaw team has certainly had some struggles against Mohawk Valley so far this year. What do you feel like is the difference maker from finally getting that edge and pulling one away from them?
Just putting up a few more hits on the board. I feel like our pitching has been pretty good and our bullpen's been pretty good. Our hitting's been pretty good for the most part, though.
And speaking to the pitching and bullpen situation, I know we were all talking about it down in the bullpen last night up there in Mohawk Valley, but arm situations kind of getting down the last lates here over this last week. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're down to a very short staff. It's just guys have got to bounce back quick, some short relief appearances, and then just be ready to go the next day and kind of take care of your body to be ready to bounce back.
And for you personally, what kind of things have you been doing to keep yourself ready day in and day out to be able to throw?
Just ice as soon as I get home from pitching, like a relief appearance, go home, ice, run the next morning, try and get my body right for the next day.
Well, and now that you guys come back here to face Glens Falls, this Dragons team has stolen a couple away from you all here recently. What's been going on in this season series with Glens Falls? What do you all have to do to turn things around?
I feel like we're usually always up in the beginning part, and we just kind of got to play strong the whole way through, not just for 5 innings. We just got to play strong the full 9.
Well, and how do you feel like that kind of has become one of those weaknesses here as of recently, that the boys have, kind of let things go the last couple innings?
We just got to keep our foot down on the gas, just keep scoring runs, keep shutting them down on the pitching end, and we should be good. We should be good.
And one last question here before I let you get back to it. Now that the season's starting to wind to a close, just have tonight in front of the home crowd and Friday night as well. What's it been like for you playing in front of this Damascus Field crowd after growing up coming to games here?
It's been great. I got a lot of local family and friends who come to the game, so it's really special for me. It's great having them here. Just keeping the ballpark packed.
Pat, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you. Roll Laws.
Got to give a huge thank you to Pat Dangler for dropping by our pregame show this afternoon. We talked about everything from his relationship with his brother and a guy who's caught him quite a bit this summer, Darren. Talked about how special it is to play in front of this Damascus Field crowd and so much more. Hope you enjoyed that. Always got to give my sincerest gratitude and appreciation to our Outlaw players for taking the time to drop by and do these day in and day out. And now we're getting down to the point where we're using some guys over again for the second time. And so these guys who've taken the time to do it twice, an extra sincerest thank you to them. We're going to go down to our coaches interview of the day with Outlaws head coach Keaton Mark as we approach first pitch time between the Dragons and Outlaws in this big East Division showdown. Colby Smith back here on another coaches interview with Outlaws head coach Keaton Mark. Coach, last night up at Mohawk Valley, you want to just talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, we played a clean baseball game. It was a pitcher's duel all the way up until the end. Unfortunately, had an error right in the last inning, but also, they gave us an error too. So, it was a good hard baseball game. Had 2 outs. Thought we had it, and then we just snake went down the line. Just a tough loss.
Lawrence Ellenson and Brian Dangler, you want to speak a little bit about what was working for them yesterday?
Yeah, like I said, pitcher's duel on both sides. Those guys both threw great. Larry was getting ahead. A couple walks here and there, but he's able to turn double plays and could have them every time. Pat came in, threw great, and like I said, just a little unlucky at the end, but they both threw well.
Well, and what went into the decision to give Allenson his first start here so late in the season?
We currently have a couple starters that are battling some injuries and stuff, so we need a guy to step up, and he was ready and wanted to, and he came in and got the job done.
And considering this team is a little short-staffed on the pitching side of things right now, what's going to go into the thought process the rest of the week in terms of maneuvers and things?
Definitely trying to line up as well as we can the guys we want to throw in playoffs on Monday, but at the same time, like you said, with our pitching situation, we're just piecing together as we go and just make it through the week. Tough stretch here, 7 games in a row at the end, but doing our best to make it through it.
Well, and how frustrating is that as a coach to come this far and then have to play so many games in such a short amount of time?
It's a little frustrating. It wouldn't be as bad if, like I said, we weren't battling some injuries. It'd be perfectly fine, but it tends to happen in the end of summer ball, and then guys shut down, so it's a little tough to put together.
Well, and you mentioned shutting down here at the end. What kind of things do you all have to do and work on together to stay into it?
Just making sure that certain guys' pitch counts stay at a certain number, so that way in another 2 days they can throw again and just stuff like that.
Well, and how as a coach do you keep a specific eye on pitch count, and what goes into your decisions inning by inning in terms of keeping guys out there and making changes?
I just think an open line of communication going along with the pitch count is huge. Last night, Larry and I were consistently talking, and towards the end, I was ready to pull him, but he said he was good as long as he could get an out or two. But as soon as somebody gets on base, we just pull the plug.
Taking a step up and been shining here lately.
We've turned a lot of double plays in the past couple games, which is nice to see because we were struggling with that at one point. So it's nice to see this late in the season that we're able to, once our pitcher executes, we're able to execute on defense too and help them out.
Well, and Coach, what kind of things are you specifically looking for from the defense in terms of any kind of adjustments or things here in this last week?
Just making the routine plays, not making the routine plays difficult. Obviously, there's some tough ones we got to keep in. You're not going to get an out on deep plays in the hole, but just making the routine ones.
Well, in terms of hitters, we never really got the chance to talk about it. Jack Hopko taking hitter of the week last week. What's really been working for Hop here recently, and how proud were you to see that?
He's just really sticking to his approach. I mean, guys consistently throw him outside, and he works on it every day, hitting the outside pitch. And even though they keep throwing him outside, he just takes it the other way. And then also working counts. I mean, he walks a lot too, and he's a guy that's comfortable getting the 2 strikes. Not a lot of guys can do that and be comfortable getting the 2 strikes and still be confident. I just feel like right now, even when he gets the 2 strikes, he knows exactly what he wants to do with the ball.
Well, and Coach, in terms of other hitters that have really been taking a step up here, who's really impressed lately?
Honestly, a couple guys. King's been swinging well. So is Marco. A couple hits last night. We've got a handful of other guys that are hitting the ball hard, just getting outs. But Brody's swinging it well. I mean, we're swinging it pretty well. Carrera's still.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Will.
Welcome back to historic Damaski Field. That is going to conclude our pregame show for tonight. The Glens Falls Dragons and Oneonta Outlaws getting set to battle for the 7th time this season. And Colby Smith, I'm lucky enough to be joined for these first couple innings by Outlaws infielder Chase Armstrong. Chase, how are we feeling tonight?
Feeling good, feeling good.
How are we feeling about the incoming rain situation?
It don't look good, but hopefully it just holds off.
So it's James Ward to lead things off for Glens Falls against Dan Matafine. As the first pitch going to break on in there for a called strike 1. And Chase, you've been on the field for a couple of Matafine starts so far this year. What have you seen from his stuff this summer?
He's got good command for sure. He does get some innings where he just falls off a little bit, but that's just he just needs to refocus in those innings. But other than that, he's got good command for his fastball and slider and changeup for sure.
So the count going to drop down to 0-2. Matafine, bat set, fire, swing and a miss. He's going to get him going for the high heater, and there's one away here to begin this one.
Love a 3-pitch first at bat.
So James Ward, the center fielder for the Dragons, going to be retired, and down will go to Odelio Cespedes and Chase. This is a guy who certainly hit the Outlaws up a few times.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely got a lot of power for sure. He's a big guy that he's either going straight pull or straight away. He normally doesn't go up the middle, so it's one or the other.
Matafine quickly going to fall behind 1-0. This Dragons team comes in having lost 3 in a row as the 1-0 swing and a miss, and the count going to set back even. And Chase, this Outlaw group, what's the feeling like after last night's tough loss?
Redemption, coming back, getting a win. We were up the whole game by 1, and then we lost it in that last inning with that last batter. So just making sure that we can pull through and finish the game.
Now Matafine with his 2-1 offering. Shot on off diagonal behind the plate, just above the Oneonta dugout, and so the count's going to go 2-2. In terms of the mindset after a game like that, how do you bounce back the next day and play ball again?
You just come back hungry for more, just hungry to get the next win, the next game.
2-2, shot straight back into the mat behind the plate. And you talk about coming hungry. Now that you're down to this final stretch of the season, what's the whole, feeling behind a playoff chase? What's the mindset like right now?
Just go out there, compete, and ultimately just win each game.
Count's going to go full after that one dropped in a bit low off that outside corner. And if you're Matafine, what are you going to with your first full count?
Probably fastball here.
Matafine sets his payoff offering, and Cespedes with another foul tip. Chase, as a hitter, how come, you come around on balls like this and you just continuously foul them back in a bat like this?
The main pitches you're fouling off are basically the ones that you don't want to hit that are close to the plate.
Cespedes with a slow tapper towards third. Bateman going to field cleanly over to Waiting, who stretches out for the 5-3 put away, and there's 2 quickly retired. So Cespedes clearly wanted a piece of that one and just couldn't get it past Bateman. And Bateman, tell me a little bit about what you've seen from him shifting between short and third here recently.
He does it very well. Not a lot of people take that throw distance too good, but he's definitely got the arm to play both. But he always goes out there with the intent of making the best play possible. whenever he gets a backhand at third or short, he's making sure he's coming up fast and gunning the ball straight to first or second, wherever the play is going to be at. So he's definitely taking care of business in both positions.
Catch behind, nothing in one. Going to take one in there, breaking tight to the hands for strike 2. And now Chase, Dan Matafee, just one good pitch away from getting out of this first inning.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to throw it over the plate here, for sure. You want to try to get him to chase.
0-2, going to come on in there a bit high, and it'll go 1-2. And now that Catch has seen a couple of pitches here, what do you expect this time around?
You know, he might go slider here with a 1-2 count.
Matafee's 1-2, going to come on in high yet again as that one came tight to Catch, and it'll even back up at 2 apiece. Catch has been one of the hottest hitters on this Glens Falls team as of recently. Had a couple of hits when the Outlaws were up at Glens Falls last Friday night. Matafee's 2-2, down and outside for ball 3, and Chase bat-to-bat full counts here in this first inning.
Yeah, definitely something you really don't want to see as a outlaw right here. Pitch count going up in the first inning a little bit, but at least he got a 3-pitch against the first batter.
Called strike 3. He's going to ring him up with one high and inside, just painted that corner, and Chase a 1-2-3, top of the first for Dan Matafee.
We love to see it.
We're going to head to the bottom of the first 0-0 game between the Dragons and Outlaws here on Oneonta YouTube. Back here in Stuart Damasky Field as we get ready to go for the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at the Outlaws starting lineup here for the 1-10 batting order. Leading things off going to be none other than Jack Bateman, who we talked about in that top of the first. He's playing third tonight. Matt Carrera over at short. Jack Hopko, the defending hitter of the week, out in center, batting third. Colton Harrison will be in right. Brendan Connolly is the EH. Brody Rowley, pitcher to the left, plays left field tonight. Darren Dangler is behind the plate for Dan Matafee. Hitting eighth, going to be the DH, Marco Moises. Connor Waiting is at first. And then down in the 10 hole, none other than Owen Burnsworth, who's at second. And Chase, what a lineup that Keaton and Josiah put together tonight.
That's a good lineup right there. Bateman is definitely happy he gets the lead off. He was excited when he saw that.
And Jack Bateman, the recent commit to Catholic U, gets his first start as the leadoff batter for the Outlaws, and he's going to see a Glens Falls Dragon arm who might be a little rusty, having not pitched since last Monday night where he threw 2 innings at Saugerties. It's Logan Krause, who just finished his freshman year at St. John Fisher. Krause going to pound one in the dirt just in front of the plate, and it'll be ball 1. And Chase, Logan Krause, what are you guys expecting to see from him?
Just from his warm-ups, he's living down, just like that first pitch. He's living down, so just seeing that pitch up to, get your ride. But 2-0, he definitely needs to see his pitch right here.
Bateman now ahead in the count, 2-0 against Krause, who fires one low and in yet again, and it'll go for ball 3, and the count's going to be 3-0. And in terms of Bateman, you talked about, him being excited to lead off.
Yeah.
How does that affect the approach or, take coming into a game knowing it's your first start up there?
Some people take it differently. Like me, I'm a big when if I see it early in the count, I'm gonna swing. So he's more of a laid back. He likes to see his pitches working at bat as he's doing here.
3-1 offering. Called strike 2 on that upper inside, and the count's run full. So Kraus, what a bounce back after trailing 3-0. Kraus shaking off Mitneff behind the plate. Now his payoff, fouled straight on back, and we'll do it all over again. It's Mitneff behind the plate, and first to third on the infield for Glens Falls is going to be Griffin, Wu, Gabriel, Bernardo, and then right to left in the outfield, Catch, Ward, and Hart. Do the payoff a second time as Kraus fires, and another one straight bat behind the plate. And Chase, what are you seeing in this approach from Bateman?
He's just making sure that he stays in the at bat, and he's trying to get on base as a leadoff, which is what you love to see as a leadoff.
7 pitches taken by Jack Bateman here to start against Logan Kraus. Game 7 of the season set between the Outlaws and Dragons is Bateman with a high fly ball out towards the left center gap. Going to curve a bit towards center, and it's caught on the run by Ward. And so there's one down to start this Outlaw half of the first. And Chase just getting underneath that one.
Yeah.
So now Matt Carrera, who plays short tonight for the Outlaws, going to come on up second. Carrera, tell me a little bit about his approach, what you've seen from him in recent weeks.
He's a guy that when he sees his pitch, he's swinging, no matter if it's first pitch or ninth pitch. He's definitely going to be swinging when he sees the pitch that he wants to hit.
He drove in the only Outlaw run, as we mentioned in our pregame show last night at Mohawk Valley. 2-1 was the final as Kraus going to bullet one on in there for a called strike 1 on that lower inside. 284 is now Matt Carrera's average. Combined 19 for 67 on the summer as the 0-1 just above his shoelaces, going to make it 1-1. And Chase, tell me a little bit about what it's been like here in recent weeks as you all have gone on throughout the summer, umpiring together, how you all have just, continued to build as a unit. That one out towards shallow center, caught on the run.
Yep. It's a good play by the center fielder right there.
As Ward races in quite a mile. James Ward has been on an absolute tear out there in center since signing in Glens Falls.
Yep.
But getting back to what we were talking about before.
Yeah. What was the question again? I forgot.
No, you're good. I was asking, you all have been umpiring together for quite a few weeks now. You all have, have your own activities you do off the field together. Just talk a little bit about that.
Just a lot of the guys are umpires on the team. So just whenever we got games together, it's a big mesh thing because also being umpires, an umpiring crew is also a team itself, 2-man team right there. Whenever you got parents or coaches or players getting on one and they try to talk to the other one, try to divide you, you guys stay with each other. So kind of building camaraderie right there too.
Kraus is 0-2 to Jack Hopko, going to sail up and away, and it'll be 1-2. And in terms of how you communicate or whatever with your umpiring partner, who's your favorite on the team to umpire with?
The one I do the most with is Jacoby. He's my roommate, so and we got rain coming in.
Yep,
but
certainly.
Jacoby, since he flew in, he rides with me. So we've had Todd, the guy that schedules it, put us together since it's more convenient for him. More convenient for Jacoby.
2-2 pitch went up and away, and the count's run full. And like you said, Chase, there's rain coming, and this rain's starting to come hard as everybody's looking to take cover here at Damaski. The full count. Hopko, right side of the infield, charging in comes Wu, looks to Griffin, and there it is, the 4-3 put away. Logan Kraus and Dan Matafee trade 1-2-3 innings in the first, and we will go to the second here on Outlaws YouTube. 0-0, going to be your score. Top of the second back here on Outlaws YouTube. And the rain kind of came and was hard for a split second. People ducked and took cover, and now it's stopped once again. So we're going to keep right on rolling. It's going to be 4 or 5 sits for the Dragons to bat here in the second inning, as we will need a little bit of a dusting on home plate. And Chase, Jack Griffin, Caden Bernardo, and Kyle Wu, names who have seen the Outlaws quite a bit.
Yeah.
Talk about this season series with Glens Falls. What's been going right? What hasn't been going right lately?
Normally what's going right is like when we're hitting, we're doing pretty well against the team. And then normally what doesn't go well is when when we start losing focus, and good play by Jap Hopko in the gap right there. But whenever we aren't doing anything right, it's kind of just normally like not throwing strikes, it's not staying focused in the field, and not hitting. So normally I feel like when our hitting's doing very well, everything kind of chains in behind that.
As you said, a great play in the gap by Jack Hopko for an F8 to start this inning, and now going to be a 1-0 count to Caden Bernardo. And you mentioned focus and, keeping your guard up there. How do you do that in, these situations?
Just little breaks, I like to say. Like after every pitch, for me, I kind of just turn around, walk out, just like kind of get it out, turn around, lock back in for the pitch. So just focus in pitch by pitch.
Shot right to Bateman, cross the diamond in time. Bateman completes that one to Connor Wading. Couple of great plays over there at the hot corner for Jack Bateman so far.
Yep. He does very well in the hot corner for sure.
Well, and for somebody like him who didn't play much his freshman year at Holy Cross, how do you go about adapting and adjusting to playing on a regular basis like he is this summer?
Just being hungry, wanting those reps, wanting to play, and he's done very well with that. He's always wanted to play. Like baseball, you never want to sit, So him being out there, he's happy he's out there, and he's gonna do what he needs to do to stay out there.
The 0-1 skipped off the plate to Kyle Wu. And talking about Bateman over there at third, around the diamond for the Outlaws. Carrera's at short, Burnsworth at second, Wading's over there at first. Left to right in the outfield, it's Rowley, Hopko, and Harrison with Dangler behind the dish. As that one going to come on in high to the hands, and the count will go 2-1. And Chase, you mentioned a good lineup, but talk about the defense. Talk about what's been going right in the field for this team recently.
We've been making really, good plays, the ones that aren't routine. Like, Matt last night had a really good play up the middle. King had, 2 or 3 good plays over there in the hot corner at third last night. Outfield making diving plays. Cove had one last night. So did Hop. Just making the non-routine plays for sure.
So the count going to stay 2-2 after a foul ball by Wu. Matafine working quickly, fires one on in high, and it'll go full. And Chase, you mentioned the pitching for this team. Kind of a shortage of arms here in these last few weeks. Yeah. How's the team handling and coping with that?
It's just you got to do what you got to do. It looked like it hit the knob, but.
It's like a quick conversation between Kyle Wu and our home plate umpire, and he is going to get to fire the bat away. So
he even thought it hit the bat.
He'll be the first base runner for Glens Falls here with 2 away in this top of the second.
Yeah, that's definitely something you don't want to see. He was probably just trying to hit that inside corner. It happens, but it is what it is. And we're going to have a convergence to see what the infield umpire thought.
Well, if in the case that this does uphold, Kyle McNeff would come up next for Glens Falls. But Chase, Dan Matafine, now we've seen him through 5 outs. What do you see in here to start this one?
He's very good. He started very good. He's focused. He's throwing strikes. He's mixing his pitches and mixing his looks.
Well, and everybody talks about the characters on this team, the personalities you got. I think Dan's kind of the dark horse as one of those, humor guys down in the clubhouse.
Yeah. He's one where he'll say something and you're like, that's funny, and he's just out of nowhere. Like you don't even know he's there and he says it and you're like, that's hilarious. He's not Like the presence is there when he talks. He gets everybody to pay attention to when he talks for sure.
Well, and the hit by pitch will upstand, and so Kyle Mitneff, the Dragons bat stop tonight, going to get a chance to bat in the second inning. Matafine with a quick look over to first. Back on set and going to fire a great strike one to get this at bat started. Mitneff just wrapped up his junior year at UMass Dartmouth. He's hitting just a .25 on the summer so far. Matafine now is 0-1. Skips past Dangler, rolls all the way to the bat stop, and so Wu will get to move up 90 feet down to second. Like a pitch that just slipped out of Matafine's hand.
Yeah, probably. He started off with that fastball right down the middle, or middle out, and then just one that just got away from him.
And the sprinkle is going to start to pick back up here at historic Tomaski Field in this top of the second. 1-1 is the count, and now the rain going to start to get heavy quickly. Everybody's ducking and taking cover here at Tomaski Field, and it looks like our umpire is going to call it now. The Outlaws defense going to strut off the field, and we will step aside here on Outlaws YouTube. We'll see what happens next. We will keep you updated, so stay tuned. Top of the second, 0-0 game, 1-1 count on Mitneff, and a runner at second with 2 down.